Please be seated. The record will show the presence of the jury, the defendant, and all counsel. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your patience. I know you were waiting for us. We were working diligently, so I do appreciate you being patient with us. The defense may call its next witness.
Yeah, the defense calls Lonnie Dworkin to
Mr. Dworkin, please come forward.
Can you spell your last name for me?
D as in David, W-O-R-K-I-N.
Raise your right hand. You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Could you tell us your name, please?
Lonnie Dworkin, spelled L-O-N-N-I-E, D as in David, W-O-R-K-I-N.
I'm Mr. Dworkin. What is it that you do for a living?
I'm a computer forensic examiner.
What does that mean?
I work on criminal and civil cases that involve digital evidence. The digital evidence can be in the format of a hard drive, a cell phone, audio forensics, most evidence items in the digital domain.
And what kind of training and experience do you have to do that?
Well, I have a degree in electrical engineering I received from Boston University. I worked for the U.S. Navy for approximately 7.5 years in a variety of engineering and project management capacity. I worked for Intel Corporation in a variety of roles, including product design and development, software validation, verification, as well as part of their quality organization, providing consulting to different organizations worldwide on systems development. And then after that, when I separated from Intel, I started my current company, CompuFor LLC. And in preparation for that, I took a number of technology training classes in the area of some of the forensic tools that I use, such as NCASE and FTK. These are forensic tools. As well as over the years, I've been doing this now for approximately 11 years, and I have attended conferences and additional training annually.
You mentioned some of the tools that you use, like NCASE. Are these some of the same forensic tools that police officers use?
Yes, I've always made it a point to use the same tools that local, state, and federal law enforcement uses, to the extent that they were available to me as a defense expert. And so NCASE is a very popular tool for mostly local, but federal also uses it on occasion.
All right, and then do you continue with ongoing education?
Yes, every year I attend boot camps and training sessions as part of conferences, or I'll attend specialized training to stay apprised of new developments in technology and tools.
All right, and were you retained in this case, in Ms. Arias' case?
Yes, I was retained.
What were you retained to do?
I was retained originally, I believe, to look at some computer evidence. And throughout my retaining, I have provided computer forensic services in a variety of technologies, including cell phone technology and computers.
All right, so we can be more specific, I guess. Let's talk about some of the things that you did. Did you take a look at some of the things that Mesa Police Department had taken in as evidence?
Yes.
And did you view them forensically? Did you do your own forensic work on them?
Yes.
I want to talk to you specifically about something that was labeled by Mesa PD as number 390633. Are you familiar with that?
633, yes.
Do you know what that is?
That is, as I understand, the victim's laptop or computer.
Okay. Is that a compact Presario?
Yes, I believe it is.
And when you're working on these things, do you use the same numbers that Mesa PD uses?
Yes, I adopt their nomenclature, their numbering system, to make it easier for comparing my results to their results. So when I talk about evidence item 633, we're all talking about the same thing. If I have evidence that's brought to me that didn't come from law enforcement, let's say, then I would assign my own nomenclature to it using my own internal standards.
Okay, so one of the things that you did with Travis's laptop, were you aware that Mesa PD had also forensically reviewed it?
Yes.
Okay, and part of your forensic review, what does that mean? What are you doing to that computer?
I can speak.
Specifically the compact.
Well, I can speak to my standard protocol.
Okay.
I follow this for every piece of evidence that I handle. When I'm provided a forensic copy of a computer's hard drive from law enforcement or from another expert for that matter, it's provided to me in a forensic format that it's known as an E01 or E01 file format, and that's because that's a file format that is associated with the forensic tool EnCase that we use. EnCase is the product name. It's made by a company out of Pasadena called Guidance Software. And so when I receive this evidence copy from law enforcement, it has certain safeguards in it to help us ensure the quality of the evidence, to make sure that bits didn't inadvertently flip or change. It's a way for us to verify that the copy I have is exactly the copy that they have and nothing inadvertently changed. The copy I'm provided is a read-only copy. I can't make changes to it. So that's a nice safeguard as well. And the standard protocol that I was trained in and the training classes I've taken from Guidance Software is often attended jointly with members from local, state, and federal law enforcement. We all follow the same protocol. Essentially, we will mount the evidence item, and the first thing we'll do is we'll verify to make sure the evidence is intact. I don't know how much detail you want me to go into beyond that, but I can go into further detail if you wish. But I can go on to the next step of the processing.
What is the next step?
The next step would be to recover lost folders. Essentially, when parent folders are deleted, oftentimes the child folders or subfolders can still be recovered intact with their names and metadata. And so there's an N script. It's a feature built into the EnCase tool that allows us to quickly recover those items. The next standard step is to, was that clear?
Yeah.
Okay. The next step I always follow is I run a file signature verification. I've learned through my training and experience, sometimes people try to hide information because by changing the file extension of a file. So, for example, if you wanted to hide a photograph, you could simply just change the file extension of the photograph from .jpg or JPEG to DOC, and the computer system in the registry would think it's a document. So if you were to click on that file, it would try to open it as a document and report that the file is corrupted. But in fact, the person merely changed the extension. So to make our examinations more efficient and faster, there are special scripts we can run to test for those kinds of conditions. And so the way the script works is it reads the actual file header for specific file types to flag it to see if the extension matches the header. And so that's just a normal practice. Sometimes file extensions could get changed accidentally, or so it's just a good practice to do that. So that would be the next step that I ran. After that, then the exam would turn towards specific areas of interest for that particular case.
Okay. And so the specific area of interest with the compact, did you take a look at the internet history?
Yes, I ran actually two types of recovery. EnCase, as I mentioned, is a forensic tool and has some wonderful built-in features that allows us or helps us facilitate the recovery of certain types of information. One of the types of information is internet history. Internet history is very interesting in that when you surf the internet, if you're a Windows user, and you're using Internet Explorer, there is a log file that's maintained that's not immediately visible to the user. The user may have an indication there's a log file there because oftentimes you can go back and look at your surfing history for that day or that week or that month. So if you want to go back to a site that you enjoyed, it makes it easy to do that. That's captured in a log file. That's one of the hidden files on the computer. And EnCase has the ability to recover these log files. The way the computer works is it will take the daily surfing data or log file and it'll consolidate it into a weekly file, and it'll delete the daily file. Then it'll take the weekly log file and it'll consolidate it into a master log file. And that's how it works. That's how it knows what you surfed today versus yesterday versus last month. EnCase has the ability to not only display or present the current log files, but it has the ability to recover, identify previously deleted log files. And it can do this with multiple web browsers. As I'm sure you're aware, there's Internet Explorer, there is Firefox, Safari is also used on the PC now, as well as Google Chrome. And so EnCase has the ability to recover these types of records.
And did you specifically look at the compact as far as internet history?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And may I approach, Judge? When you do that, do you create a report?
Yes, I have the ability to generate a report, and this looks like a standard EnCase formatted report.
And I'm showing you what's been marked as exhibit number 419. When you generate a report, does it tell us then, in your report, does it tell us some of that internet history?
Yes, it tells us the log file that the entry was recovered from. So I'm going to just pick one here. It says...
yeah, don't tell me specifically yet what
the
exhibit is. But when you run that report, can we learn then the timing of when that internet or that specific history on the internet occurred?
Yes.
Can we learn the date?
Yes.
And did you view exhibit number 419?
Yes.
Is that a copy of your report with regard to the compact part of it?
Yes.
Judge, the defense would move in exhibit number 419.
Objection to hearsay as to this quasi-official report.
Approach.
That's just a limited part of your report, is that right?
Yes, the pages are numbered.
Okay. And actually, I know that these pages are numbered 1,505 through 1,507.
Correct.
So does that mean your report is probably longer than 1,507 pages?
Potentially.
Okay. And exhibit number 419, does this have to deal with just a specific time period on June 4th? The internet history I'm talking about. Do you need to see it?
Well, that's a subset of the report, so whatever items are on those particular selected pages, that's the only time frame you see. My full report did not filter for any particular time period.
Okay, right. So in other words, if we want to know about a specific time period, we can flip through the pages and find that in the report.
That is correct.
Okay. At this time, Judge's defense would move in exhibit number 419.
Any additional objections?
No, same objection.
Objection overruled. Exhibit 419 will be admitted.
May I approach?
You may.
Okay, so based on that report, can you tell us in on the first page, we're talking about when that compact was first was accessed during that time. Does it give you a time?
I'm sorry, can you ask me that question again?
Yeah, let me do that again. Okay, so there's a lot of information in each little square of separate time piece. Can you tell us what that information, generally speaking, what information is it giving us?
Well, each piece is essentially a logged event. So it could have been a user, the result of a user interaction, for example, typing in a URL and hitting enter. It could be the result of a redirect on the internet. So each action is logged. On the 63 computer, for example, I think there were over 99,000 entries. Some of them are redundant, not all of them are unique.
Okay, and so can we look at the first action?
At the very top of the first page?
I don't think that one's complete. I think
It's not.
Okay,
It's just
so
a portion. So the first full
the
one.
first full action.
Yes, I'm looking at
Can
it.
you tell us about the first full action? What is it telling us?
Okay. Well, it's an action that documents a website that was visited and the date and time the website was visited.
Okay, can you tell us what website was visited?
Yes, it was youtube.com.
Okay, and the date and time?
The date and time is June 4th, 2008 at 4:08:11 a.m.
So 4:08 a.m. and 11 seconds? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. What else does it tell us?
It tells us the browser type. In this case, it's Mozilla, which is a form of Firefox.
And does it tell us anything else?
It tells us that the profile name that was used was Deanna Reed.
And what's the profile name?
The profile name is going to be the user account on the computer that the internet event was accessed with. So, for example, with a Deanna Reed account, someone was logged into that account and then went to this website, and the log captured the website information and the user profile that was used to visit that website on the computer.
How does a user profile name typically get onto a computer?
Usually when you purchase a computer, it asks you to set up your user account. Oftentimes people will provide their first and last name, and subsequently when you access your computer, especially if you use a password, it'll present you with the account name, and you might log in if you've used a password. So usually the user will create a login account, or it just depends on the history of the computer. If it was used or if it's a company computer, obviously that would vary.
Okay. And does it tell us anything else in that action?
Yes, it tells us the name of a file that was accessed, the YouTube file that was accessed.
Okay. And what was that?
The title of the file is Drunk, in parentheses, Daft Punk dash Hard Bodies Faster, Stronger, and then close paren.
Okay. Is that all the information it tells us in that action?
Yes, and it has, of course, the path. So if we went back to YouTube, if this video was still there, we could conceivably view it.
Oh, okay. All right, so based on that information, does that mean that that particular computer was being used at 4:08 in the morning
Yes,
and visiting that particular website?
correct.
Okay. Can you go to the next action?
The next action?
The next
There's
action.
there's another action at the bottom of the page.
Okay. And can you tell us the website?
The website or URL,
Section, lack of foundation, you could just give us the time, please.
Okay, I could start with
Yes.
the time. What's the time?
the time is 4:11 a.m. in the morning and 4 seconds.
Okay, and what's the website? Oh, what's the date?
The date is also June 4th, 2008.
And what's the website?
The website is youtube.com.
All right. And specifically, does it tell us specifically which, or,
The title of the video that was viewed?
yes.
The title of the video that was viewed is Daft Hands dash harder, comma, better, comma, faster, comma, stronger.
Okay. And the next action.
Okay, I'm on page 1506,
All right, and let's start with the date
okay, June 4th, 2008.
and the time.
It's 4:15 and 13 seconds in the morning, a.m.
Okay, and the website?
The website is again youtube.com.
And does it tell us specifically where on YouTube?
The title of this file is Daft Hands dash double speed in parens faster, comma, better.
All right, and then to the next action.
The date
Yes, the date first.
is June 4th, 2008. The time is 4:24 and 0 seconds in the morning, a.m. The website is the same, youtube.com, and the title of the video that was watched was freewebproxy-air-proxy.com.
Okay, and is there another action?
Yes.
And tell us that one, please.
The date is June 4th, 2008, at 4:30 and 27 seconds in the morning. The
Okay.
profile name is the same. It has not changed. It's still Deanna Reed. And at this point, now we're looking at Gmail. The actual URL is mail.google.com, which I know is Gmail.
Okay. And the next action?
The next section, the date is June 4th, 2008. The time is 4:33 and 55 seconds in the morning. The browser is still Mozilla. Okay, the typed URL is www.travisalexander.net. The profile name is still Deanna Reed. And the actual URL that was accessed was page googlesyndication.com.
Okay. And is there one more action?
Yes.
And what's the date on that?
The date is also June 4th, 2008. The time is 4:35 and 45 seconds in the morning. Still Mozilla. The URL that was accessed is travisalexander.net. And then there's a path. Do you want me to read the path as well?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Um,
And then it's Deanna Reed as well, and the Google syndication.com as well is the URL.
okay. So is that the last action?
That is the last action.
Okay. And so based on that information, can you tell us then that that computer was being accessed at 4:35 in the morning?
Yes.
And that, and between the hour of, I think, when did we start? 4:04 in the morning?
4:08
4:08
a.m.
4:08 in the morning to 4:35 it was being accessed?
Correct.
All right. Let's talk about your work that you did on an external drive.
Okay?
Okay, and I'm talking about one that was initially broken.
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember when you received that?
No, I'd have to look at my records.
Can you do that, please?
Yes.
Is that possible?
I need my folder. Thank you.
And Judge, if we could have that representative, please.
The entire folder or just his
Whatever
notes?
he's going to refer to.
Yes. Good.
Did you happen to read it? Okay. Okay, thank you. Exhibit 421, just been marked. Does that refresh your recollection as to when you received the hard drive, the external drive?
Yes.
All right, when was that?
It was on October 25th, 2012, at approximately 11:26 in the morning.
And what is it that you received?
I received a 2.5-inch internal hard drive. That's the size of a hard drive you would find in a laptop. And a bag of parts from an external enclosure that would be appropriate for use with that hard drive. So it appeared that that hard drive may have been in that enclosure at some point, but this enclosure was provided to me as a bag of parts.
Okay, and actually, did you receive a mirror image or something? Did you receive something else? I think in November that had to do with this external drive. A mirror image.
Yes.
Okay, when was that received? Does that refresh your recollection as to when you received the mirror image?
Yes.
All right, and when was that?
That was on November 5th, 2012, at approximately 4:57, and I can't read if it's AM or PM. And it wasn't received directly by me, it was received by a representative of my office.
Okay. And what were you asked to do with that mirror image? Well, let me ask you this, I'm sorry, what's a mirror image?
A mirror image is another term that's used for a forensic copy. So earlier in our discussion, we talked about my having received a copy of the victim's laptop from the Mesa Police Department in a forensic format. This also is the exact same format, just a different evidence item, different hard drive.
Okay. All right, and what were you asked to do?
I was asked, I don't recall what I was asked to do.
Were you asked to pull photographs, everything you can off of the mirror image?
I was asked to process the hard drive using my standard protocol. I don't recall, without looking at any notes, what specifically I was asked to do. I do remember following this standard protocol.
Okay, so that standard protocol, would that involve using EnCase?
It would involve using EnCase. I believe on all of the evidence items I had received, I recovered all photographs, messages, and internet history. So I would expect I had done the same with this device as well. However, this particular forensic copy posed a unique challenge.
What was that?
The copy I received was made from the original hard drive, but the original hard drive was not functioning. It was damaged as it was related to me. And therefore, the hard drive had to be sent out from Mesa PD, as I understand it, to a specialty service to try to make the hard drive operational. And then once that was accomplished by this third party, they created a EnCase or forensic image and returned it to Mesa PD, and then I received a copy from them.
Okay.
And so normally, if I receive a forensic copy, and the copy was made from a working computer, a working hard drive, I can easily add it to my forensic tool, and I can open it up, and it'll appear to me as any Windows hard drive. I will see a file system, I'll see folders, and I'll see files. In this case, because the first sectors of the hard drive had been damaged, the master file table that enables or establishes the file system, the folders, file names, and such, had been damaged. And so I had to run some extra special or some unique scripts and do a little bit of searching to essentially reconstitute the file system. NTF file systems, this is a common file system often used by Windows, certainly Windows XP and Windows version 7, often has a backup. And I was able to search the hard drive and locate the backup file system. And using that, I was now able to view the content on the hard drive. However, I was also aware that the copy I was presented, the portions that had been damaged had, in its place of having the normal bits that we'd expect to see, the service had written unrecoverable. So I knew those sectors were not usable and did not have any evidentiary value.
Okay. Ultimately, were you able to pull different information using EnCase off of this mirror image?
Yes.
And was some of that information photos?
Yes.
And when you pull photos off, were you always able to get information about when those photos were taken?
Not always.
Is that due to the damage on the external drive?
Some of it yes, and some of it no.
Okay. All right. Judge may approach. Make sure I knew exhibits number 394 and 393.
Yes.
You recognize those as two photos that were taken off of this mirror image?
Yes.
And I see there's a timestamp on the front of the photos, is that right?
Correct.
Is that something you put on there?
No.
Okay, so what does that come with the photo? That timestamp?
This is how the photo appeared to me on the evidence item.
Okay. All right, defense moves, I forgot the numbers. Defense moves to enter exhibits number
393, 394.
393 and 394.
Objection, relevance, if you want, I can expand what I am on that.
You may.
That's
May
a,
we have it out of the bench, please?
He's asking to voir dire the witness. You may.
sir, with regard to that part of the human body that's there, do you know who it belongs to?
I do not.
That's not your area of expertise, do you, is it?
No, it is not.
I object on the grounds of relevance and lack of foundation.
Now you may approach.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take the recess at this time. Please be back in the designated area on Monday at 10:30 a.m. We will start promptly at that time. Have a nice weekend. Please remember the admonition. You are excused.
Please stand for the jury.
All right, council, is there anything else for today?
Your Honor, briefly, obviously today's events may give rise to the need, I should say, to alter the schedule of proceedings in terms of our experts and that sort of thing. In that regard, we had discussed the motion, the prosecutorial misconduct motions, and Ms. Hughes coming to testify on the 13th, and I just wanted to know if that is going to happen in terms of scheduling our experts.
And I would ask that Mr. Gus Searcy also be here on the 13th. So I know that Guy Hughes will be here on the 13th as directed, but I'm also asking that Gus Searcy be here also.
Judge, as discussed, Mr. Searcy requested to appear telephonically. He did not advise the 13th being a day that he was available to be in Arizona.
All right, well, I will allow Mr. Searcy to appear telephonically, but he will need to be available when we call him, so you'll need to have a number where we can reach him.
I will work on making that happen. So I assume then we will not be in front of the jury on the afternoon of the 13th.
That is correct. We will complete the evidentiary hearing on the 13th.
And Judge, I know that I'm going to be asked about this. May Ms. Hughes also appear telephonically?
Well, Mr. Searcy has already been to court and appeared, or has had an opportunity to judge his credibility, to see him in person. I have not had that benefit of that with Ms. Hughes, so unless there's a stipulation between the parties, she should be here in person.
I will contemplate it, but I highly doubt that I would agree to that.
Okay. Sir, you may step down. Thank you. Is there anything else?
No.
All right. Thank you.